Hey everyone, this is Nikita from Parcel Tracker, and today I'm going to show you guys how I'd set up my account for multi-building offices. Many offices nowadays still rely on manual processes like paper logs or spreadsheets to track internal deliveries. But across multiple buildings, that can quickly lead to lost visibility, delayed handovers, and extra time spent tracking down parcels instead of keeping operations moving. Parcel Tracker aims to speed up the intake process and make it easier to track parcels as they move through different office buildings. Our multi-mailroom workflow is designed for offices that operate across different interconnected buildings, whether that's multiple buildings in one campus or offices spread across different regions. By the end of this video, your parcel management workflow should look like this. Parcel arrives to the building. Right now, I'm scanning in parcels with my camera using the Parcel Tracker mobile app. Parcel Tracker automatically picks up the name, so I don't have to manually enter the data. I can select Add Photo to add a wider photo of the parcel, and assign the parcel tags in a storage location. I can do this for multiple parcels in a row. Once I've scanned everything in, I select Check-in, and this will notify recipients that their parcels have arrived. To move parcels to another site, my courier will select the Move tab, select Pickup, and select the site that they're picking up the parcels from. They can either scan the parcel labels or select them from the top bar. Once he's selected all the parcels, he'll press Confirm, select Next, and Pick Up. This will mark those parcels as handled. When the courier is ready to drop off those parcels, he'll select Drop Off from the Move tab, select the parcels to be moved, click Drop Off, and select the site where he's dropping off the parcels. If an internal courier is delivering a parcel directly to the end recipient, instead of drop off, he'll select Collect, and he'll obtain a signature to confirm delivery and mark the parcel as collected. Or instead, the recipient can present their QR code at the collection point. Staff will scan the QR code and then scan their parcel label, and then mark that parcel as collected. If each building has an independent parcel workflow and you feel that you don't need the multi-mailroom setup, then we have simpler workflows available. Check out the link in the card. First things first, I want to set up a Parcel Tracker account. For mailrooms that require the multi-mailroom workflow, you need at least the Pro plan. But if you're not ready to commit yet, then don't worry. As soon as you make a free account, you'll be able to sign up for a 14-day free trial of the Pro plan. So to create your free account, go to parceltracker.com and select Start for free. If you do decide to upgrade your plan, go to Billing and select Upgrade under Pro plan for the self-service sign-up, or contact our team for custom pricing. This is what your account will look like when you first sign in. Before anything else, I want to show you guys how to customize your account. So to do that, let's go to Settings. And from here, you'll be able to edit your company name, upload a logo, and even enter the address. You can simply enter a new company name, or select Upload Logo, then choose the file from your device. When you're happy with the changes, just select Save Changes, and that will update your account. Let's go back to our dashboard, and the first thing that I would want to do is to set up my sites. I want you to think of sites as different points where a parcel is handled in your office campus. So think mailrooms, receiving bays, receptions, or package rooms. And from here, parcels can either be collected or moved to a different site. So to add a site, select Add Site, enter the site name and any of these optional details. We can also edit site information, so to do that, just hover over the site and enter any of the changes, and Parcel Tracker will automatically save it. With that done, it's time to upload our recipients. So to do that, let's go to Recipients. And from here, we can either bulk upload recipients using a CSV list or upload them individually. The reason why we want to upload our recipients list first is because Parcel Tracker will use this information to match parcels to the correct recipient and notify them at the same time. Without a recipient list, Parcel Tracker will not be able to detect recipients, and it may lead to parcels being put on hold to be processed properly later on. This creates a backlog on the mailroom, which would cause more problems down the line. So I'll show you guys how to bulk upload recipients first. To do that, let's go to Import List, And from here you can download our template, which you can fill in, or you can select an existing file from your device. Here's what that template looks like. There are some optional fields, but the most important ones you'll need will be the recipient's first name, their last name, their email. The reason why we need their email is because Parcel Tracker uses this as the primary notification platform, and their location. So this could be their department, their room number, or their room name. And since we're using the multi-mailroom workflow, I also want to fill in site and additional site. So think of site as the final delivery point. Let's say, for example, that I work in IT, so I'll put my site as tech and IT. And for additional site, you want this to be the main touch point, which in this case would be the central operations building or the mailroom. It's also helpful to enable drop-off locations if you use internal couriers. So when your couriers will move parcels between sites later on, this field will organize parcels by where they need to go. Here's my sample recipient CSV list. I have a mix of staff who are representatives in different departments who are ordering supplies and equipment. And I can also have staff who are receiving personal parcels at the office. So again, their site will be their final delivery point. Additional site will be the main touch point for the parcels, which in this case is the main mailroom. And drop-off locations, they're the same as the recipient site. And this will help my internal couriers later on when we move parcels between two different sites. When your recipient list is ready, select Browse File. Select the file from your device. Tick this box that says you have permission to upload the data. Click Continue. Make sure that each column is mapped to the correct property. So here's an example of when I encountered an error. In this case, the unit which I used to define room numbers was not recognized as a location, and all I had to do was map it to the correct property, which in this case is location. When you're done, press Continue. From this tab, you can review the data and make any last-minute changes. When you're done, just press Continue. And then confirm and upload the data. Parcel Tracker will show you if there were any errors during the process, if there were any duplicate recipients, or if any recipient data was updated from an old CSV list. So now let's view all recipients. Since ID and alias are empty, we can hide those. Just select the hamburger icon and press Hide. Next, I'll show you guys how to upload recipients individually. Let's say that I have a staff member who I want to authorize to order supplies and equipment for a specific department. Just select Add Recipient. Enter the necessary details. Don't forget to select the correct site and add an additional site if needed. When you're done, just press Add and Create Another to add a new recipient, or Add to close the window. The next thing would be to set up your scanning devices. So since Parcel Tracker is a mobile app, you can use this on a phone or a tablet. Apple or Android both work. But for best performance, we recommend at least an iPhone SE or an Android with 6GB of RAM and a 2.8 GHz processor. You can have designated devices per site, or you can have staff download them on their personal phones, and if so, you can add them in as Mailroom users. So to do that, let's go back to Settings. Select Mailroom Users. And click Invite User. And enter the necessary details. From here, you can even select permission levels, so if you want this person to be able to scan in and scan out parcels, and maybe add recipients, then just invite them as normal. But if you want them to have more access over the features, over the sites, then invite them as admin. You can even select site access. So couriers and mailroom operations managers would generally have access to all sites, but if, for example, you have receptionists who will be handling parcels for only a specific site, then you can select just that site. When you're done, press Send. And that person will have received an invite in their email to become a user on your account. Next would be to configure my tags, so to do that, let's go to Tags. And you'll see the Parcel Tracker already has some default tags, but you can add more as needed. You can use tags to identify the type of parcel you're handling, any special instructions, and where it's going. In a multi-site office, I can use more general tags such as fragile or high value, or I can use routing tags for each department. So to add a tag, select Add Tag. Enter the name, and you can even select a color so that it's easier to see. Next, let's go to storage locations. When you first scan in a parcel using Parcel Tracker, you'll be able to assign it a storage location, and in that way, staff will always know where it is. Storage locations can look different depending on the building's workflow, and if you have multiple storage rooms, for example, then feel free to add them in. But in most cases, a lot of buildings only have one storage room or one mailroom for the entire building. For a main mailroom, you can really narrow it down to each shelf, each aisle, each locker, each row, and even cages if you use cages. So to add a location, just select Add Location, enter the name, and select Save and Add Another to add a new one, or Save to close the window. You can even configure storage locations for different sites. So right now, we're at the main mailroom, and to select a different site, just select this drop-down bar, and select the site that you want to configure. The last thing that I would want to do is to set up my notifications, so let's go back to our dashboard and select Notifications. A delivery notification is what the recipient would first receive when the parcel is scanned in by the building. A collection notification is basically confirmation that the recipient has collected the parcel. Reminders can be enabled if recipients leave their parcels uncollected for too long. And sign up, like collection, is a confirmation email that a recipient has been added to the Parcel Tracker account. First, I'll show you how to edit a notification. So to do that, let's go to Actions and select Edit. You'll see a preview of what the notification would look like. When a recipient receives a notification from Parcel Tracker, they'll get a QR code which they can present at the collection point to collect their parcel. To edit the message, you can just enter a new one, and you can even choose to adjust the recipient by first name, by last name, by their alias if they have an alias, and you can even toggle advanced parcel details, and this will show the recipient things like notes, who the courier is, and when the delivery arrived. When you're happy with the changes, just press Submit. To enable any kind of notification, just select Add, and select the default template. You can also configure notifications for different sites, so to select a different site, just select this drop-down bar, and you can either select all sites or select only a specific site. To edit notifications separately, just make sure that you're on the correct site and use the same instructions that we used earlier. From Actions, you can select Remove to disable a notification, or you can assign All to apply to all of the sites that you have. Next, I'm going to show you guys how to scan parcels, move them between two different sites, and then mark them as collected through the Parcel Tracker app. Right now, you're looking at my phone screen, which I'll be using to demo the Parcel Tracker app, but first I want to show you guys where you can find Parcel Tracker on the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store. So whichever one you're on, just go to Search and look for Parcel Tracker. Select Parcel Tracker-Mailroom, then download the app and log in with your details. When you open the Parcel Tracker app, you'll see 5 different tabs. The first one will be In, which is what you use to scan in parcels. Out to scan out parcels. Move to move parcels between two different sites. Manage to manage parcels, recipients, and users. And Settings to access our live chat support, our online knowledge base, configure features, and select your scanning mode. Now let's try scanning in some parcels. I have some sample labels here. When parcels arrive to your mailroom or receiving bay, select Scan Parcels. Hold the camera over the label and press and hold the button to pick up the name, and again to pick up the barcode. And since we enabled the additional parcel details feature in the beginning, we'll be able to add an additional photo of the parcel. Parcel Tracker auto-extracts images upon the scan-in, but you can add a wider photo just so you know what it looks like, especially for bigger parcels. You can select the tags that you created earlier. And if you scroll down, you can even select the storage location. Press Submit. And you can continue doing this for multiple parcels in a row. Here's my second parcel. Again, we're pressing and holding the button to pick up the name, and again to pick up the barcode. Again, we can add another photo, select tags, and select the storage location. Press Submit. When you're done scanning, press Next. Parcel Tracker will show you a preview of all the parcels you've scanned, and select Check-in. You'll see that those parcels we just scanned are now marked as checked in on the Parcel Tracker app. After checking in a parcel, there are a few different steps and flows that it can go through before it reaches the final recipient. To make it easier for you to understand, I'll add a flow chart on the left of the screen. First, I'll show you guys what it will look like if you have an internal courier who can deliver parcels directly to the end recipient. First, we'll go to the Move tab. select Pickup. The courier will select the site that they're picking up the parcels from, so that's the main mailroom. And he can either scan the labels or select them from this parcel icon on the top bar. Select Confirm, Next, and Pickup. When we refresh the page, you'll see that parcels are now being handled. And since we enable drop-off locations, your courier will be able to see where those parcels need to go. Now when the courier reaches the end recipient, he'll select Drop-off. Again, he can either scan the labels or select them from the top bar. Press Confirm, Next, and Collect. He'll need to get the recipient's signature to confirm delivery. And when that's done, press Collect, and those parcels will be signed off. Next, I'll show you guys how to move parcels between sites. For this workflow, let's say that you have an internal courier who needs to move parcels from the main mailroom to the North Admin building. Again, your internal courier will go to the Move tab, select Pickup, select the site where they're picking up the parcels from, scan or select parcels from the top bar, select them, confirm, next, and pick up. Again, those parcels will be marked as handled. He'll see that it needs to go to the North Admin building. And when he reaches the next site, he'll select Drop Off. He can scan or select the parcels, confirm, next, and drop off. And select the site where he's dropping off the parcels to. And now when you go to the North Admin building, to do that, let's go to Settings, My Account, Change Site, select the North Admin building, confirm. We'll now see that those parcels that have been moved are now checked in. Here's the second way to move parcels between sites. This workflow can be beneficial for offices that get a high volume of parcels delivered every day, if I have regional offices separated across different cities or countries, if the parcel is being handled by a third-party courier, or if I simply need more visibility to be able to plan the intake of deliveries at the next site. So to mark a parcel as expected, we'll go to the Out tab, select Batch Checkout. Again, we can either scan the label or select them from the top bar. Press Confirm, Next, Move, and select the site where the parcel is headed. Press Confirm. And now when we go to the North Admin building, again we'll go to Settings, My Account, Change Site, North Admin building. You'll see that that parcel is now marked as expected. And when a parcel arrives, attending staff can confirm it by selecting Parcels Expected. Select the scan icon. And again, you can either scan the labels or select them from the top bar. Press Confirm, Next, and check in. That parcel is now formally marked checked in into the next site. From here, parcels can be checked out in 3 different ways. The first one is again through an internal courier. So let's walk through that again. The courier will go to the Move tab, select Pickup, select the sites where they're picking up the parcels from, scan or select the parcels from the top bar, press Confirm, Next, and Pick Up. And when he reaches the recipient, he'll select Drop Off, scan or select the parcels, confirm, next, collect, and get a signature to confirm delivery. The second way is through recipient checkout. As mentioned earlier, when a recipient gets a notification to collect their parcel, they'll get a QR code in their email. The recipient will then need to present this QR code at the collection point, and from there, attending staff can go to the Out tab, select Recipient Checkout, scan the QR code, and then scan the labels of the parcels that they're going to collect, or select them from the top bar. Press Next, Checkout, and since we use a QR code, we can just proceed to checkout, or we can switch to recipient's e-signature, and then checkout. You can also facilitate self-service collections through the Parcel Tracker kiosk app. Let's say that your site has a package room for self-service collections. You'll need to assign a device with the kiosk app installed, and from there recipients can scan their QR codes on the kiosk, select their parcels, and then sign them off. From the Parcels tab, you'll also see a timeline of where a parcel has been since it was checked in. So let's open one of Isaac's parcels. And here you'll see a complete timeline of when it was checked in, when it was picked up by a courier, when it arrived to the next building, and when it was checked out. Now I want to show you guys one more tab that I think you'll find really helpful, and that's our statistics. In this page, you'll see things like your peak check-in times, your peak checkout times, your top couriers, and your average parcel turnaround time. So since this is a new account, there's not a lot of data here yet, but I'll show you guys what it looks like when you've spent enough time with the software. Now I want to give you guys an example of how I would use these statistics to help me out in the mailroom. So let's say that my peak check-in times are between the hours of 9 AM to 10 AM. I can use this information to allocate more resources like extra helping hands, parcel trolleys to accommodate the intake of deliveries, or I can even perform a parcel audit around 7 AM to make sure that there's enough space in my mailroom for the new deliveries. Average turnaround time refers to the time it takes for a parcel to be collected once it's been signed in. If I notice that parcels have been sitting in my mailroom for too long, it could mean that I need to enable reminders so that recipients pick up their parcels in a more timely manner, or that my internal couriers might be struggling with the volume of parcels, and it could mean that I either need to hire more or identify where bottlenecks are occurring to make sure that there's no delay in deliveries. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Please let us know if you found this video helpful, which features you like best, and which features you'd like to see us add in the future. See you next time.